Welcome to World Building Fanatic. Today, I want to talk about a story, more like a pitch for an MCU Disney Plus movie based on the character Trevor Slattery, the legendary actor. Why a movie? Because the story doesn't need to be episodic. Before we begin, let me just say, I know we are on YouTube, but the visual aid I'm going to put in this video is just a slideshow of images, nothing significant. I can spend more time and add video footage, but what's the point? If you want to see that movie, you'll see the movie. Anyways, it's not like I'll get the exact footage that fits my story. So if you're interested in knowing what happens in the story, I suggest you rest your eyes by shutting them and just listen. Not only listen, but also try experiencing it as if you're there while I narrate it. Good enough? Let's begin. Our story starts immediately after the magical battle of Shang-chi. Our heroes, along with the leftover force of the Mandarin, return home. By home, I mean the base of 10 rings. The siblings have to decide the fate of the organization now that their father is dead. They mutually agree that the 10 rings should be shut down. Shang-Chi's sister will do that job considering she knows more about running an organization. The Mandarin was a good person, misguided but mostly good. That was the real Mandarin, but this is the story of our beloved fake Mandarin. Leaving Morris in the magical dimension, Trevor returns to Earth. He's still undecided as to what to do next. His captor is dead, so he's free to do whatever he wants. Actually, Trevor is torn between spending the rest of his life blissfully in the magical dimension, where he is welcome always, or pursuing his life's purpose, that is to become an actor. That night, Trevor checks his phone. There are countless missed calls and text messages from his agent. This is the woman who has been with him for all these years, giving him acting jobs. As a matter of fact, she is the one who had given him the break in a failed series called Caged Heat. Unfortunately, nothing happened of it as the pilot was not picked up for a season. They blamed Trevor's bad acting for the rejection of the pilot episode. Since then, Trevor swore that Caged Heat is his legacy and no one will play the protagonist of that show except him. To improve his acting skills, he decided to act in real world scenarios like playing the Mandarin. Trevor calls her only to be told that the studio is considering a revival of Caged Heat series. After Trevor became infamous for playing the Mandarin, someone at the studio leaked the footage and now the fans are demanding more of Caged Heat. Unfortunately, since Trevor is missing, also a criminal, the studio decides to recast the role. This angers Trevor. Nobody but me should play that role. The agent calls Trevor to inform him that, and that instant, Trevor has decided that he will return to Hollywood. But how will he go? After all, he is still a criminal who broke out of prison. The agent is worried, but Trevor assures her, saying, "Don't worry, sweetie. One of the perks of playing the Mandarin is that I know some of the high officials of the state. I know exactly whom to call." The day of departure arrives as Shang-Chi, Katie, and Trevor leave for the USA. There, Trevor becomes a part of a press conference where the studio announces the official revival of Caged Heat, with the original actor playing the lead. They reintroduce Trevor Slattery as the most infamous, but now older and wiser actor. In addition to that, there is a government official to tell the press that Trevor is cleared of all the charges. This government official is someone Trevor calls brother. In months to follow, the shooting begins and Trevor is on set living his dream. Among the many people he gets acquainted with, Trevor also gets a personal assistant, an understudy who himself is aspiring to become an actor. Trevor agrees to help him by teaching him all he knows about acting. 6 months later, this 6-part series is ready to be released on Disney+. Yes, there is a Disney Plus in the MCU. On the day of the premiere, Trevor is busy doing press tours all around. That's a bit hectic part, so he is drunk while giving the interviews. One of those interviews is conducted by Christine Everhart, the same woman we saw in Iron Man, the first MCU movie. She outright accuses him of being a murderer. She says she does not care what the government says. He has done some bad things, like killing on live television, and such a person should not be allowed to act in any movie or series. Tension builds as a lot of back and forth happens during the interview, until the point when she asks Trevor, what did he do to be cleared of the charges? To that, Trevor spills out everything. The entire time he played the Mandarin, he was undercover working for the US government to destroy the Ten Rings organization from within. Trevor further goes on record to say that he manipulated the Ten Rings to abduct him from the prison and take him to the real Mandarin. While he was there, he found the right moment and killed the Mandarin. He says that he has recorded proof that the Mandarin is dead. Now that his job was over, he returned to pursue his career in acting. This news spreads like wildfire. The buzz is exactly what the producers want to make this show a success. Meanwhile, in one random apartment, there is a guy watching this interview of Trevor. That instant he gets a phone call. The woman on the other side speaks in Chinese as she says, Trevor Slattery cannot be allowed to continue. He has to be silenced once and for all. This time, finish the job yourself and don't let death come to him easily. Let him suffer before he dies. The guy agrees to it and hangs up the call. This is the same person who interviewed Trevor in the prison during the one-shot All Hail King. Meanwhile, inside a lavish bungalow, Trevor is giving his understudy some acting tips. That's when he gets a call from his top official, the brother. Let's call him Toss. Toss tells Trevor that he made a big mistake revealing this confidential information. Trevor tells him to relax. The Ten Rings no longer exist. He personally saw that the children of Mandarin agreed to shut down all operations around the world. To that, Toss corrects him saying the Ten Rings was never shut down. Actually, it is stronger than ever, and now that he talked trash about the Mandarin, they are coming for him. Realizing this, Trevor starts to panic. He runs around the house not understanding what to do. He acts like a crazy person even before the attack begins. Within the next few minutes, the attack begins. A bunch of goons surround the bungalow and start shooting. They shoot in a haphazard manner such that Trevor gets scared, but does not die. That instant, Trevor's personal assistant Kevin changes his behavior. He starts defending Trevor, guiding him towards a planned escape. Kevin reveals his true identity as an FBI agent tasked by Trevor's brother Toss to protect him. He was never an aspiring actor. Despite being surrounded, Trevor and Kevin manage to escape in a car. The Ten Rings chase him. After a long chase sequence that takes them out of the city limits, Kevin manages to get them off their tail. But in the process of escaping, Trevor gets shot in the arm. Trevor starts to bleed, but strangely, his blood is not red in color. Trevor warns Kevin saying he can't hide it anymore, and suddenly, Trevor's entire body transforms into a Skrull. Of course, he's a Skrull. How else does one explain him understanding what Morris is saying? He learned that in school. Kevin is shocked. Momentarily, he loses control over the wheel, but then continues to drive. As they drive away on the highway, Trevor tells him that he is originally a Skrull who came to Earth from his home planet to be away from the meaningless Kree-Skrull war. He came to Earth because he was told that the weapons on Earth are primitive, comparatively less advanced than of his home planet. His actual name is Milo. Not that Milo. Being a peace-loving, non-violent coward, Milo fell in love with a place where all the guns are fake. That is, Hollywood. He aspired to become an actor. Before he could continue the story, they arrive at the destination. It's an abandoned shack in the middle of nowhere. At the entrance is Milo's brother Toss. He's waiting for them. Toss is not surprised to see Milo in his Skrull form. He brings Milo in and tends to his wounds. While Toss reassures his brother that everything will be alright, Milo speaks of the contingency. Toss suggests his brother to say nothing else. While Milo rests, he calls Kevin close. He asks him whether he was ever interested in acting. As Trevor, he put his heart into teaching Kevin. Milo was heartbroken to learn that he was lied to by his brother. Before the conversation could go any further, a helicopter lands. From it comes out the Ten Rings guy tasked with killing Milo, better known as Trevor Slattery. As they surround, Milo speaks of contingency yet again, but Toss ignores it. He steps outside to negotiate a truce, but the guy is not listening. He wants to kill Trevor, that's it. Upon calling Milo, he steps out in the Trevor form. The guy points his gun at Trevor. Suddenly, Trevor breaks into performing an act. He does the same bit he did in front of the Mandarin to spare his life. Unfortunately, this trick does not work for this guy. He cannot let him stay alive, but what he can do is let Trevor die on his own terms. He gives Trevor an option to either die by the gun or swallow poison that will kill him slowly. In the meantime, while he is dying, he can perform a death scene in order to die the way every actor should while performing. Trevor takes the offer and drinks the poison. Suddenly, he feels weak. His brother takes Trevor inside the cottage. Trevor's death is certain, so the Ten Rings need not stay to verify his death. Trevor falls on the couch reciting his final lines. He says, "Even if I die, the legend of Trevor Slattery must continue. Promise me, brother, Trevor will live. You will be the contingency." "I promise," says Toss, "but I can't be the contingency. I don't know the first thing about acting. He is the contingency." As Toss points at the agent Kevin, he slowly transforms into revealing himself to be a Skrull as well. Toss tells his brother that he told Kevin to be with him in order to study Milo's performance as Trevor. So these acting lessons weren't a waste of time. Milo calls Kevin close as their hands touch. Milo says, "Here's all you need to know about Trevor Slattery." Suddenly we see flashes of Trevor throughout different ages, flashes of the quality time he spent with his mother, then the time he spent in Hollywood struggling to get a job. Finally, Trevor gets his first solo gig of playing an angry cop in the series called Caged Heat. The memory continues as we see one night, Trevor in a dark alley. He is preparing for the role of the angry cop. While he stays in character, he accuses every passerby of committing a crime. At one point, he confronts Milo, who is in human disguise. Milo does not know how to react when the cop accuses him of keeping a secret. Milo gets scared. He transforms into his Skrull form. Trevor loses balance and falls on a sharp object that pierces his heart. While dying, Trevor breaks character, indicating that he was just an actor. He cries, thinking he won't get to fulfill his dreams. Milo feels guilty because he never killed anyone before, and so he pledges to be Trevor Slattery till the day he dies. Milo takes Trevor's identity and his memories, but he's unable to replicate Trevor's acting skills, which is why the Caged Heat pilot turns out to be a bad first episode. Many years later, now Trevor has finally fulfilled his promise by delivering a good season 1 of Caged Heat. So he can peacefully die now, but the job is not done. Trevor Slattery is yet to become the greatest actor of all time. Days later, the Caged Heat show becomes a success. The producer and the audience celebrates together. Meanwhile, Trevor is nowhere to be seen. Rumors suggest that the Ten Rings people killed Trevor. People start demanding justice for Trevor. That's when the producers call for another press conference, this time to announce season 2 of Caged Heat. People fear that they are recasting Trevor, and so they protest. Meanwhile, backstage in a green room, Kevin is in his Skrull form as he looks in the mirror. When someone comes to call him out, he looks in the mirror saying, "The legendary actor Trevor Slattery will continue to live." Then suddenly he transforms into Trevor Slattery and gets into the comedic personality Trevor is. He walks to the stage, he speaks the line, "You'll never see me coming," and then steps out of the shadow with a new look and a wide smile on his face. The end. Thank you. This is the story. Now, this is just a synopsis, not even a first draft. So do tell me, improvements. What did you like? What do you think did not work? And then let's work together to make this story so good that Marvel Studios has to make it. Or at least a version of it where the story is twisted for we don't understand what the plot is when the movie is actually released.